Good morning and welcome back to our Friday training in new home sales. And this is brought to you by Powered by Ground and New Home Sales here at Keller Williams. Just a couple introductories about new home sales and Powered by Ground. Powered by Ground is an education platform where we want to bring professionals of the industry to you and from the areas that they come from. So being trained by the professionals in the industry. Also, Powered by Ground is learning how to service your clients better. And new home sales, our goal is to tell you that there's a huge pool of other clients out there outside of resale that you can start servicing. And when you service these clients, it's going to create a lot of other opportunities for real estate transactions. What is our vision? Our vision that our market center and many other market centers and other brokerages would eventually cultivate new home sales in their market centers. This is very important because I believe working in real estate, being a broker, and providing this service to your clients, and there's a huge void in that sector. So our vision is that eventually we have a culture where we're selling more and more new home sales. What's the mission? The mission is to equip brokers in new home sales. Week by week, class by class, exposure to different pools of people, exposure to a different market. Our goal is to equip brokers in new home sales. What is the goal? Through the training, that we would change our mindset in the direction of our business. That is the goal. That through training and being convinced that this is a sector that I have to move my business into. How is this to be done? Through networking. Networking, masterminding, following us on Powered by Ground and other platforms so you could see for yourself what New Homes has to offer to each one of us. Mastermind is very crucial, and we'll be bringing in different podcasts and different people from the industry so you could hear from them for yourself. So in new home sales, we're here to give you new opportunity. This is what our focus is. There's a new sector of the industry. It's actually been around. It just has a lot more market share. And because it has more market share, more service is to be provided. Also, when population growth takes place, whether in metros or outskirts markets, we have to understand that more people have to service. You need more HVAC, you need more plumbers, you need more electricians, and you need more brokers. And this is why we provide this training, that there would be more and more brokers who want to go into that space. I myself have been in that space for over 20 years. I've worked in land acquisition, still do, work with investors, work with builders. We bring product to the market. We help sell product by focusing on inside salespeople, outside salespeople, and just the whole process as a whole. And that is our goal, is on behalf of myself and many other people within the network that I work to bring that education to our classes, to our podcasts, and allow people to learn how new home sales works. What's interesting is new home sales is not something that is taught in most brokerages. And this is something that we're pioneering in right now. It's only about a year, a little bit over a year, that we've been doing these trainings here at our market center and abroad. And it's amazing to see how many brokers, even here at our office, have pivoted in that direction. They have started to look into their database and start to see other people who they could start collaborating and partnering with to increase transactions for their team or for their own personal development. So, motivational thought of the day. I always do these. I call it cross-training. Call it thought of the day or wisdom of the day. Cross-training is a huge tool that we have to develop in our careers. you have to know a little bit of everything that happens. From the front secretary, to the back end admin, to your accountant, to you in sales, you have to cross-train. So when I sit down with my CPA every year, I just don't sit down to do my books. I sit down to get educated. I ask him, what's the new laws? Is this a good president? Is this a bad president? What new laws have they given us? What tax brackets? Blah, blah, blah. If I make more money next year, if I make less money, I'm cross-training. So every meeting that I go to, it's not a meeting just for the sake of the appointment. When I meet with my secretary, our front secretary, my goal is to cross-train. How's the secretary's life going on? Is there a lot of people coming in? Not a lot of people coming into the office. What's happening? Blah, blah, blah. So I am learning and training as I go and I talk to people and I collaborate. Cross-training is a phenomenal tool if you use it well. Because almost from every meeting, from every person you meet, you can learn something. You can learn how they're doing business. You can learn how they're building homes. You can learn how they're developing. You can learn how, and it's interesting, a lot of people say, oh, I'm not a teacher or whatever. But it's crazy, but in every conversation, somebody's teaching you to do something. Like, it's a given, right? When you even enter a coffee shop, you actually, you're learning there. You're seeing how a person is just making that coffee cup for you, right? How they're working the beans or whatever, roasting and so forth. Like you're constantly learning it, but if you become a little bit more aware of how it's all happening, you're going to learn so much faster. You don't have to put too much energy, but you have to learn to cross-train. So when I talk to other brokers, when I talk to other investors, when I talk to buyers and sellers, I actually learn what's happening. It's very important to learn what's going on with buyers. It's very important to know what's going on with sellers in the market. It's very important to learn what's happening with builders in the market. It's very important to learn what's happening with vendors. And then people ask you, how do you know? Well, easily. I cross-train. How do you know all this information about builders? Well, every time I meet with a builder, I'm learning. And believe me, your brain is not fully put to use, so put it to use, right? They say we use only 10%. So we can maximize so much more by training. It's not like, oh, you know so much. It's just, are you willing to be trained while you're in the meetings? So when you're talking to employees, if you're managing people, you're always cross-training. This is a phenomenal tool, and that's why it's the thought of the day, to cross-train. So the theme today and the lesson that we're going to be talking about is new home sales. Why new home sales? Why new home sales? And I'm a big advocate of this. And people say, why? And I want to talk about why. And I want to talk about the market shifts. Markets shift. Markets go high, markets go low. There has never been a time when real estate is just sitting there plateau. Markets shift. And if we're learning how markets shift, we are learning how new homes has a huge contribution towards our businesses. When I go into many of the communities right now, in the last 5, 6, 7 years, a lot of schools were built. And I actually started to ask, cross-train, why were schools built? And a guy said when interest rates go down, they can refinance bonds, they can pull money more for schools, it's cheaper, they can use that capital now to build new schools. Never knew that. Why? Because I was cross-training. But that has to do with new home sales. So when rates dropped, the government got more money, everybody got more money. So that's why they were able to fund schools. So we're in business because markets shift, and when markets shift, there's opening opportunities that were not there when markets were not shift, if they did not shift. So the new home schools were built because the market shift. Rates fell, this opened up opportunity, governments can move money around, schools can move money around, so that opened up an opportunity. So every time markets shift, there's open opportunity that is created. Right now, because of COVID, what happened? People got locked in, too low rates. There's no inventory. Brokers are asking, what do we do? Well, the builders, the developers understood that there's an influx of buyers that are in the market that can't find a property. So people search and then they end up buying new because the market has shifted. The opportunities have opened up. So there's a huge opportunity and market shifts that take place. There's a lot of land deals. We talk about product. We sell three things as brokers: land, residential, and commercial. That is our product lines. Interesting, even our DB office, I've talked, he said in the last 6 months I've seen more and more land deals. I was like, that's a really good sign. Brokers are learning that this is part of their transactions that they can cultivate. Oh, we can do 60-day feasibility on a land, put it in escrow, find the builder, find capital to build a house, put this package together, and let's make it happen. So you're seeing, I'm seeing more brokers, do land deals, and they've come to our division and asked, and we show them processes and so forth. We don't have to be involved in every transaction, but if we can assist and guide and direct our business in that direction, it makes so much more availability to move that transaction. So market shift, then we talked about opportunity. So opportunity opens up and then there becomes a huge void. Just like when the market was up, there's not enough inventory, there's an opportunity, right? When markets go down, so every market shift creates its complements us brokers in certain areas. And right now, new home sector is a huge complement to the market. Will it always be like that? Maybe not. But there's that run, that opportunity is there right now. Why new home sales? I'll also want to just mention many of the inside brokers or inside broker salesmen that I've seen from new home sales, they're very well equipped compared to just traditional brokers. And the reason is they're always associated with the product. They're always, so if I have an inside salesperson sitting at the model home every single day compared to a broker sitting in an office all day, who's going to learn more? The inside salesperson who's in the field. They're seeing product go up, they're talking to contractors, they're talking to buyers, they're talking to all the niches, knickknacks, and everything that has to do with putting a house together. So that inside salesperson has a lot more knowledge about product than a broker who just sits in the office. So this is why I recommend you talk to inside salespeople. Because it's true, they do have a lot of knowledge about product that traditional brokers don't have. Because every day they're around product. Why new home sales? What makes a successful broker? Well, we know marketing is a huge aspect. Marketing and knowing your product. And new home sales helps facilitate that. It helps you in marketing. It helps you. I just watched a video clip this morning, like Clark County Southwest, most expensive house. Well, it's not going to be resale. It's going to be new. And when I watched the reel, I was like, well, this is so awesome. This will go back to marketing. That broker took her name and placed her on the most expensive house in Clark County and did a reel for like a minute and a half. So it's marketing and knowing the product, which helps facilitate you to become better as a broker. So if you know your product better, you'll be a better service to your clients and the availability in marketing. Also, what makes a successful broker is if you know and understand community development and you understand the latest innovations. That's why I went to parade. That's why I go to parades. And we had a conversation just a couple days ago about the parade. And I tell why parade's so cool is people go there, and if they take one thing back to their house, they go, hey, I really love that tile, or I really like that light fixture, or I really like that paint texture. And they take that one thing back to their house. What they're really taking is experience. They had that experience at the parade, and they want to continue that experience in their own personal home. And that's what new home sales offers, is this experience where most people would never get it anywhere else. It's like fashion. People go to fashion because they can't find it anywhere else, right? It's something new, something innovative. So why new home sales? Is because all of this. You learn product better, you understand marketing, you understand community development, and you understand innovation. In real estate, we also do branding, marketing and branding. This is a huge topic and theme. We have to market ourselves, we have to brand ourselves, we have to market our services, we have to brand product. And there's nothing better than doing it around new home sales, period. Whether you are involved in that transaction or not, but branding yourself around new home sales, I'm telling you, like I go to YouTube and I watch a lot of reels. It's all about new home sales. I look at all websites. I look at traffic on websites. A lot of people are looking always at the new things. I mean, BAA runs their parade and they have a couple thousand people show up. You can't do that with resale. You just can't bring so many people to one location within 1 week. Nobody's interested in that, unless it's a historical house that's like 300 years old. That's kind of where it's at. So marketing and branding. So brand yourselves around new home sales, brand yourself around upcoming communities, and brand yourselves on new developments. The new development hits a curiosity point, and people are always curious. And this is what sells. People are curious who's going to win the election. And it creates a lot of traffic. People watch the debates, like 30 million people, right? They're always curious what's happening. So if you click that curiosity button and what's going to be taking place, people will follow that. So marketing and branding is why you want new home sales. You brand yourself, you brand around new communities, around new developments, and around the new developments of curiosity. Why people need to move here, why people are moving here, and so forth. It's interesting, I spoke with a broker, I think he was in the industry almost like 45 years here in Clark County, and asked him 30 years ago, who are the big players who moved to Washington? He's like, California. I was like, nothing's changed in 40 years. It's crazy. California keeps exiting and coming to Vancouver. So 40 years ago, in 1970s and 1980s, the big movers and the buyer pool was from California. You know, today in Southwest Washington, the same thing. When I ask him who's the big movers, I go to Toll Brothers in Camas, and she's like, one a month is California. It's interesting, when they were building a lot of apartments, they still do, I actually stopped at leasing offices and asked, where's your greatest pool of people coming from? It's crazy, like during COVID, it was also California. So if you want to know where people are coming from, just stop at these like 3 places and ask, because if there's a new apartment complex and it gets filled up in 2-3 months, people are coming here from somewhere. And usually that person at the front desk, again, cross-training, will tell you a simple fact, where are most people coming from. It's the same thing in Florida. When I went to Florida I think it was during COVID, and I couldn't get a hotel. Like, it was just so packed. And I started talking with the front desk gal, and I was like, who on earth is coming down here? She's like, all New Yorkers. All the New Yorkers are coming. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you really mean it? She's like, yeah, every day. She's like, the hotel's booked and booked. And it's like I was like, wow, so the news media is right. So what I'm saying, cross-training, always go back to talking and cross-training with people. So what lies do brokers believe about new home sales? Sadly, a lot of brokers think they can't do this transaction. And all I say is you have to start somewhere. So we're doing a lot of video casting. I used to never be a YouTuber and social media and all of this. Now I understand this is the only way people communicate nowadays. So guess what? I'm bridging myself into that. So you have to bridge yourself into a new territory. You have to. And that's part of innovation, and that's part of re-innovating yourself. And I say why social media has changed. I know it's a rabbit trail thought, but it used to be when I went into business, a business card was good enough. Then it was a website. Then it's like a business card plus a website. Then after a website, it was, a Facebook account or a Zillow account. That's probably what it was. Then it's like a Facebook account. If people didn't find you on Facebook, they thought you weren't real. Then it's Facebook plus Instagram plus now YouTube and plus, it's just going to keep going, and you have to move with that current. So the first slide that most brokers think they can't bridge it. But that is not true, because we move through the markets and we have to innovate. We have to innovate ourselves because we're always moving with a shifting market. So now all of us can slowly make our way. And like I mentioned, even in the 12, 18 months that I've been doing training and classes and talking more about it, I see how more brokers are moving into that space. More brokers are showing up at the BAA places. More brokers are showing up at parade. Not because just for the sake of the show up. Now they're actually doing this. They don't understand maybe cross-training, but that's really what's taking place. They're starting to finally understand, hey, there's a whole other world out there in real estate, and there's a way I could still make money off of it or monetize on it in my business. What lies brokers believe is that builders do not want to work with brokers. And that's not true, because the stats show that about 50% to 70% of transactions happen from outside salespeople. So I've talked to builders who build 30 homes a year, and then I've talked to guys who build 200 and maybe more. And I ask, where do the deals come from? Deal flow. And a huge portion of their deal flow comes from us, the brokers, the outside brokers. A huge flow of their business. I know that all brokers have been burnt with builders, have been burnt with buyers, have been burnt with sellers. But we can't use that metric not to do business with them. I've been burnt through my whole career. Not once, not twice. Tens and tens of times, right? A buyer said he would work with you, turns around never works with you. A seller said they list with you, in 2 weeks they changed their mind, they fired you, hired another person. Sometimes they don't even tell you why, right? But that should not be something that, circumstantial things should not make or break us who we are as brokers. We need to identify the realistics of the markets, realistics of our services, and understand that in the longevity of the time, everything gets rewarded for what you offer to the market. So you can't base your business on one transaction or a few transactions that went south. So no, builders do need brokers. And it's interesting that I've actually seen builders now do more training with their inside salespeople. I actually went into one of the models, and they had an office, and I was like, what's this? And he's like, oh, we're building out a training room. So I understand why all of this is taking place. They're trying to teach their inside sales brokers to innovate and move towards us, the outside sales brokers. And this collaboration is taking more and more place, which is really exciting. Some brokers feel like, I would say this is the last slide, but some brokers feel like it's too complicated of a process, and why spend time learning it? And I would say the better you are as a specialty as a broker, the higher you get paid. So if it's hard, that means there's less and less people in that space doing it. So it should not be something that pushes you away. It should be something that attracts you to challenge yourself to learn more in that space. Yes, it's really complicated to understand civil engineering, but if you get the right partners involved, it'll be a lot easier where you can cross-train. Yes, what is a survey, or how do you dig a well, or how do you figure out perk tests, or how do you figure out ADUs? All of this is, part of innovation that we talked here. But cross-training is what helps you get here. I've talked to a surveyor, I've talked to a septic guy, I've talked to developers, I've talked to the investors. Why? Because I'm always moving with the market. Remember, each market shift creates opportunity. there's opportunity every time a market shifts. And our goal is to develop these opportunities and become a service platform within the context of those opportunities. So going back and kind of finalizing our training for this morning, those brokers who work in new home sales excel higher than those who don't. That would be kind of a takeaway. Those who do go beyond those who don't. So the biggest sales offices, the most capital flow, the biggest investment groups, the biggest showcase houses have, those brokers who have attached themselves to that go beyond those who don't. And if you just followed even me around or other brokers in the market, we have more connections and mastermind with people with bigger business opportunities than if I were not part of new home sales. Not even talking about renovation, right? That's a whole other sphere. But remodel and new, they overlap in a lot of areas. So one takeaway is those brokers who cross-train and look for opportunity in new home sales and innovate, they go beyond those who don't. Those brokers, another takeaway, those brokers who are in new home sales on any level know product better. They do know product better. A lot of efficiency laws came in, a lot of energy laws came in. A lot of people ask why there's no more gas inside of new communities and all of this. This is all people who are in new home sales, they understand why all of this is happening. Brokers who will have to resell those homes in 5 years, will have to explain why there's heat pumps now and there's no gas forced air. Well, I know that today. I don't have to wait 5 years from today. So the broker who has to do resale in 5 years and sell a home, he'll have to learn that in 5 years, where I'm learning that today. So I'm 5 years kind of ahead on everybody who has to focus on those things in 5 years. So you're ahead and you know product better. So where do we go with all of this? Whether you're looking and studying us online or here in class, become a partner. Become better at masterminding and networking. Ask for help. And if I don't have the answer, oftentimes we'll direct you to people who will help you to move your transactions from first level or from wherever you're at to the next level. Bring us into your transaction if you really desire that. We've partnered with many brokers where we assist them in helping them move through the transaction, just helping them be one step ahead. They always say a great teacher is just the teacher who knows the next lesson to teach before his class. Well, that's kind of how it is in brokerage and leading the client. And never be afraid to ask for help. This is how you learn, cross-train. This is how your client learns, and this is how you become better in what you do. So why new home sales? We talked a lot today about why we have to go into that direction. And I hope that many of us can reassess our businesses, reassess where we're at, understand there's market shifts, and if you're here to stay for the longevity of real estate for another 5-10 years, markets will shift again. Markets go up, markets go down. You cannot just sit here and expect yourself not to innovate with the market. So you have to go into the direction the market is taking you. And when new home sales is 30% of the market right now, we have to go figure this out. We have to go expose ourselves. We have to go understand and get out of our comfort zone, because that's what it's going to take for us to cultivate transactions in that area. Thank you.